Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Today we look at the distributive law. We're going to be expanding brackets. So to explain the distributive law, I've got a couple of rectangles here. Now this rectangle here has the exact same area as that rectangle there. They're exactly the same shape. So in the first rectangle though, I've divided it into two smaller rectangles, but that doesn't change the area. So the area of this rectangle here is going to be length times width. It's A times B, or just AB. So in the area of this rectangle here, the same. It's going to be A times C. Whatever this number is times whatever this number is. So the area of this top rectangle is just going to be the first rectangle plus the second rectangle. The area of the bottom rectangle, it's going to be exactly the same, except I haven't divided it into two rectangles this time. So the area of the bottom rectangle is just going to be length, and I'm going to times that by the width, which is B plus C. I've got to times A by the whole thing. So I've just shown you that these two things are equal. So because the area of each of these rectangles is equal, this equals this. And that's precisely what the distributive law is. A outside of, in brackets, B plus C is A times B plus A times C. Okay, I'm going to show you a little more about what that means. So if you'd like to copy this down, please pause the video because I'm going to go to a new screen. So what this is essentially saying is that if you have something, a number outside the brackets, you need to distribute it, that's why it's called the distributive law, to the first thing in the brackets. You multiply them together. Then you multiply the first and the second thing together. And then we have a plus sign in the middle. That is the distributive law. And when you apply the distributive law, you're expanding brackets. So you're starting with brackets, but you're ending up with something that doesn't have brackets. So let's go through some examples to make this clear. So let's say I have, for example, 4 outside of x plus 3. Okay, so I have to distribute the 4 to the x, so that's times. Remember, if no operation is written, it's times. So 4 times x. Then I distribute the 4 to the next thing in the brackets, 3. So 4 times 3 is 12, and there's a plus in the middle, so I put that between them. Let's say I have 5 outside of y minus 7. So a big mistake people make is they remember to multiply the 5 by the first thing, 5y, but then they say, oh yeah, it's 5y minus 7, and they forget to multiply this 5 by the second thing. This second term inside the brackets must also be multiplied by 5. So 5y minus 7 is wrong. The correct answer is 5y minus 35, and there's a minus sign here because there was 1 there. So let's say I have 6 times 2x plus 1. It's the same thing. You might be looking at it a little differently, saying, oh, but this time the letter has a number in front of it. We still do it the same way. 6 times 2x is 12x. 6 times 1 is 6. 12x plus 6. Sometimes people also forget that it's multiplication and they add it. So what they'll try and do, they'll have something at the front like x, y plus 7 or whatever, and they'll try and add them. They'll think it's x plus y, but it's x times y, x times 7 plus in the middle. Now this becomes a little tricky if you have a negative out the front. So let's say I have negative 7 outside of 2y minus 2a. Okay? Now we have to account for the negative. So 7 times 2y is 14y, but it's actually negative 7 times 2y. So negative times a positive gives a negative. Now when I times negative 7, I have to times it by negative 2a So -7 times -2 gives me positive 14. So it's going to be a positive 14a. So be careful when you're using negatives. Be careful that you're getting the signs right. So there isn't much more to it than that. Hope you've enjoyed the video. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Have a great day.